You're cooperating in this case, correct, sir?
Correct.
This is not your first cooperation, is it?
No,
You've somewhat made a career out of it, have you not?
I wouldn't say career.
Well, you first testified against an officer, Officer Eric Sinclair, back in
Relevance.
Overruled.
back in 1999, right?
Did I do what?
You testified against Officer Eric Sinclair back in 1999.
No, I didn't.
You came forward with information.
Yeah,
The officer evidently didn't take it to trial, correct?
correct.
But your cooperation, your testifying to the federal government caused him to enter a plea, right?
I'm not going to agree with that.
Okay. Well, what you probably will agree with is that your sentence was dramatically reduced, right?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't it true that before you talked to the federal government, what you were facing back in 1999, you could have gotten up to life imprisonment, correct?
yes,
And it was reduced to 10 years, right?
no.
Substantial reduction?
My time was reduced to 22 years.
How much did you serve?
About 10 years and 3 months, 4 months.
So from life to an ultimate actual serving sentence of about 10 years.
Guess what? It was a law change, and that's how my time got reduced again.
Well, and your cooperation, sir.
Yeah.
Right? So pretty good deal you made for yourself.
Yeah,
You've also worked as a confidential informant for police, haven't you?
yeah,
And you're cooperating in this particular case because it will help you, right?
right.
And you were arrested, I think you told us roughly September of 2020.
September 10th, 2020.
September 10th, it sounds like you remember the exact day,
Yes.
right, sir? I imagine that was an important day to you, correct?
I ain't gonna say important.
Well, it did cause you to be incarcerated, sir, right?
Right,
Where you've remained, correct?
right.
And that was for your involvement in the McCormick homicide, right?
Yes.
When did they hit you with the Rothermel homicide?
2021.
Okay, so in 2020, you're facing an accessory after the fact charge for your involvement in the death of Charles McCormick, right?
Right,
And when they brought you in, you've agreed to cooperate, right?
right,
But that didn't happen until 2022, correct?
right,
That would have been after they put the second homicide on you, right?
right.
Now, in the Rothermel homicide, you're aware that Dominique Varner originally was going to testify against you, right?
Right.
And your involvement in what you pled guilty to as accessory after the fact in the Rothermel killing was that you admit you gave money to Dominique Varner after knowing he had just been involved in this shooting and needed to get out of town.
Yes.
And you're willing to admit that, correct?
Yes.
You do not admit, you do not agree with Mr. Varner's claim that you provided a gun and a car to accomplish that drive-by shooting.
Right.
Okay? You don't agree with that,
No.
right?
No.
Because based on your knowledge, sir, you understand that if you and I plan to do a crime together, whatever crime, we're both considered principals, right?
Yes.
And so you can stay at home. But if you and I agree to do a crime and I do everything, but you help me, you support me, you do something, say some word that actually inspires me, that encourages me to commit the crime, you can be punished as if you did everything I did, right?
Right.
But you weren't charged as a principal in the Rothermel killing, were you?
No.
And so you were left with solicitation for murder. I guess you were originally arrested for that charge, right?
Yes.
And essentially, you understood that that charge, they were accusing you of trying to entice the murder to happen, right?
Right.
But they dropped that charge pursuant to your plea agreement, right?
Well, I think it's going to be dropped.
I'm sorry?
I think it's going to be dropped.
Okay. You just know you haven't entered a plea to it, sir, right?
Right.
That was not part of your plea agreement for you to enter a plea of guilty to solicitation for murder, correct?
Right.
Only accessory, right?
Yes.
And accessory after the fact, you understand, and you understood before you entered your plea agreement, that that's punishable by up to 30 years.
Yes. Yes.
So when you have two of them, that means that you could be sentenced up to 60 years, correct?
Correct.
But in 2022, when you agreed to come forward and cooperate, they cut your exposure by 2/3, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm never been super great at math, but 30 plus 30 is 60, right?
Right.
In your plea agreement for the death of two human beings calls for a maximum of 20 years, right?
Right.
And your actual guidelines are only about 7 years, right?
Right.
And I think you told us that that was based on your age, your health issues, and you want to be there for your younger kids, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me? You weren't there for your older kids.
That's why I know better this time.
Okay. You did grow up with quite a bit of respect on the streets, sir, didn't you?
Yep.
And you personally never met Charles McCormick,
Nope.
but you did know who he was, correct?
Yes.
And you knew in spring of 2019 that he had put out this rap song, correct?
Yes.
And you, as you've told us, you were physically in the car when Willie Addison was killed, correct?
Yes.
And your son, Abdul Jr., was in that car, correct, sir?
Yes.
And Torrigan Williams was in that car, correct, sir?
Yes.
And all of you got shot, correct?
Yes.
And you explained there was somebody else there that was actually also shot and paralyzed as a result, right?
Yes.
And who was that again?
My nephew,
Okay, and what's his name, sir?
Samuel Cooper.
Samuel what?
Cooper.
Cooper.
Yes.
Samuel Cooper.
Yes.
Also shot with Willie Addison, with you all, and is now paralyzed.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned somebody named Moody.
Yes.
Do you know Moody's full name?
I think it's Antonio McLaurin or something like that.
Antonio McLaurin.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Were you aware that Antonio McLaurin wore a wider on Mr. Barner?
Yes. Do we need to speak sidebar about that? Okay. Let me see court reporter and counsel at sidebar.
I heard objection. I just didn't hear anything after that.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And so I'm sorry, you told us another person that was in the car with you all when Willie Addison was killed and you all were shot was a person with the nickname, I'm sorry, give it to us one more time.
Moody.
Moody. And you believe Moody's full formal name is Antonio McLaren.
Yes.
Okay. And my question to you was, were you aware that Antonio McLaren wore a confidential wire on Dominique Varner
Yes.
in jail? You were?
Yes.
Okay. It's fair to say that you were vengeful after that shooting, is it not, sir?
Yes.
And that is, in fact, is why you were willing to be involved in what would become the attempted murder of someone named P. Money, and that resulted in the Rothermill killing.
Yes.
Because P. Money, and do you happen to know his formal name?
No, I don't know his full name.
Okay. But you know who I'm talking about when I say P. Money,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
He was a target for you, correct?
Yes.
Because you did believe he was responsible for not only killing your son, Willie Addison, but hurting everybody else, correct? Including yourself.
Yes.
You were not personally there during the actual shooting of what ended up being the death of Mr. Rothermel and the attempt on P. Money, correct?
Correct.
But you have pled guilty to accessory after the fact for that death.
Yes.
And you have admitted to providing Varner with money in order to get out of town, correct?
Yes.
Now, we've heard you kind of explain that on January 15th, you end up driving your Dodge Challenger, correct?
Yes.
Over to the Townsend Road area?
Yes.
And you claim that you then picked up Dominique Varner and Leroy Whitaker, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I apologize for skipping around a little bit, but I just realized something I almost forgot to ask you about. How long have you known Leroy Whitaker?
I've known him probably about a little bit more than 5 years probably now.
A little bit more than 5 years, sir?
Yeah, probably no.
Okay. And you were born in 71 or 70?
70.
1970, which makes you about 55 now, sir?
Yeah, I'll be 55 this year.
Okay. Now, back in 2020, I think you've already told us your son, Abdul Jr., was 25? That sound right?
It might be. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you told us, I mean, we can, if we have to, we can do the math.
Yeah,
Not
do the
very good
math.
at the math, but we can certainly do it. What year was Abdul Jr. born?
94.
Okay. So that would appear to make him 26, if my math is correct. Does that sound right?
26 now?
If you subtract, what month? 2020.
November.
Okay, so we'd use 2019, so that'd make him 25 at the time of the death of Mr. McCormick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That sound about right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that there's a 4-year age difference between the two sons, between Abdul Jr. and Hakeem Robinson, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if depending on the birthdays, and again, we're talking November, so if there's 4 years, then Hakeem Robinson was 21 years old, right?
Yes.
When was Willie Addison born? What year was he born?
I think 93. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
1993, which would make him 26.
At 2020, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And in 2019, when he was killed, he would have been 25.
Yeah.
Okay. Leroy Whitaker is substantially younger than all of them, correct?
Yeah.
And you always knew that from the little time that you did spend with him, correct?
Yes.
And Willie and Leroy Whitaker had no relationship whatsoever, right?
Not that I know of.
And Leroy Whitaker does not rap that you're aware of, correct?
No. No.
And with all of your testimony, though, you have not heard Leroy Whitaker specifically ever make any kind of statement that he wanted Charles McCormick dead, correct?
Correct.
And you have never heard Leroy Whitaker ever say anything to suggest he knew anyone was going to get out of a car and shoot Charles McCormick, correct?
Repeat that question.
You never heard Leroy Whitaker say anything that he would have any knowledge that anyone was going to get out and shoot Charles McCormick.